my speech will be about executive dysfunction because, given the circumstances, I figured we could all brush up on it a little bit. Executive dysfunction is normally present in learning disabilities and cognitive disorders such as ADHD, OCD, and autism, and other things like that. But it can also surface during times of sudden change and loss of control. Essentially, executive dysfunction happens when there's a disruption in high-level cognitive functions such as self-monitoring, impulse control, time management, organization, multitasking, and other things along those lines. Some signs in your life that you are struggling with executive dysfunction could be constantly leaving your car keys in the car or constantly leaving important valuables behind places. It could be poor ability to multitask, severe procrastination, things along those lines. Just, it's difficult to get tasks done. Personally, what I have been struggling with is time management and self-motivation. It's hard for me to start certain tasks because they look so big. They look so daunting. And it takes a long time, essentially. I know that it takes a long time, and I just dread that. But one of the ways to help stop executive dysfunction is to break big tasks down into smaller chunks. And when you couple that with another coping mechanism, which is frequent breaks, it makes it easier to do said big task. Other ways to combat executive dysfunction would be using a journal or a notebook to document emotions and time management. Now, it's basically impossible to start a habit immediately. It takes 21 days at least for something to become a habit. So expecting yourself to do all of the constructive steps to help combat executive dysfunction in a matter of days is unreasonable. You can start with setting aside an hour each day, the same hour, so like 3 to 4 or 3 to 5 for just homework. And you can set aside times for eating and for sleeping. And the more consistently you stick with those things, the easier it will be to do schoolwork and get other things like that done. Another thing to help curb executive dysfunction would be easily notice reminders such as sticky notes or alarms on your phone. If you're bad at remembering when things are scheduled, it might help to leave sticky notes and stuff behind. Personally, at one point, I made myself a schedule and I printed off, I think, 6 different copies, and I literally taped them in different rooms around the house where I would notice them. I have one in the bathroom, I have one on my bedroom door, I have 2 in the kitchen, and I had one in the living room where my futon used to be. Because I would go to do something in the bathroom and then forget what I had to do next, and say the next thing I had to do was clean something in the kitchen. I could just look up at the list in the bathroom and then go into the kitchen and do the thing in the kitchen, and then when I'm done with that, I'll look on the list that's in the kitchen to see what I have to do in the living room. Like, it just helps me to have reminders ahead of time for what I have to get done and when. That's about all I have for what executive dysfunction is and how it might affect you in your daily life, and some tips on how to get over it. I hope they've helped.